Hello everyone and welcome back to the D20 field campaign. They have set off a bomb in the manufactory and killed multiple people and
Yeah, I didn't
caused a
set off the
full-scale
bomb.
evacuation.
50 set off the bomb.
50 set off a bomb that has killed multiple people and caused a full-scale evacuation.
Yeah,
They're not exactly subtle people.
Yeah, no, Snarbly Wolf just kind of let a life's fortune slip by.
Multiple life fortunes slip by.
It wasn't that much. Like it's probably like sort of 7 or 8 years worth of salary.
I could have bought a ship for that.
No, you
But
couldn't
know
buy
what?
shit
A
for
small,
7 years
like,
of
We'll
shuttle.
salary.
war with you then. Well, you better disable the cameras or something. Disable the cameras so it looks like none of us went up there. And,
All right, I assume we're a go. I'm gonna plug that data ripper in and boot up the computer as fast as possible.
Okay, so Bomber is currently attempting to use a data ripper. Roll a computer use for me.
Son of a slut.
So you are ripping data off the computer.
Okay.
From the metagame perspective, your character does not know this, but you know the data you're ripping off happens to be like essentially the sci-fi equivalent of Farmville. That this particular administrative senior officer plays when he's not doing anything. So essentially, you're just copying his Farmville save.
Okay. And how
I'll
big of a
sell that
save
for a
is
lot of
that?
money.
How big of a save is this? Because
Right.
how big is the data ripper?
The data ripper's probably like 124, 248 gigabytes roughly.
Okay. And the save I just pulled off.
Well, you're ripping. I assume you're ripping as much data as the data ripper can hold. So like that's one of the things you've ripped.
I'm ripping.
But,
I'm ripping like I'm gonna pull like a solid, like 20 gigs off this.
And then
bounce
go to
around
another
the next
computer.
one. Yeah, just
Okay.
go for mass. Yeah,
Okay, so
go
you
on the
bounce
way.
around the
yeah.
computers upstairs, ripping data as you go.
Yeah.
So Nets, what are you up to?
Okay, so I removed my pants and my jacket because I had my anti-infrared suit underneath it. So I'm not just streaking around the plant. And I shall unravel my hoodie from it and then don my anti-laser, anti-eyeball laser cell phone. And
Okay.
start heading my way up to the 4th floor.
Okay, so
Anti-camera,
where is-
anti-eyeball.
where's your camera anti-camera anti-eyeball thing at the moment? Where is it? Where have you put it?
I think I'm gonna strap it on top of my head for best vantage point.
Okay.
That's gonna
roll-
look really stupid.
It is. Roll a luck check. You want to score above a 5, by the way.
Oh shit! I was so excited.
It was so close to be a 1. So it's a
I
13.
was so excited for a second.
So you have attached this device to your head, and as you're walking down the corridor, you hear this little as the servo motors twist and turn the infrared laser.
Yay! It's lasering things.
It is indeed lasering things, and you head up to the 4th floor. Snarbly Wolf, what are you up to?
So I'm gonna go up to the 4th floor, go to that one lab that has all the parasite. Grab a few. I'm gonna look around for one thing,
Mm-hmm.
and grab one of them blood vials, or look around, see if there's anyone else here. Grab one of them blood vials, some parasite. Or wait, actually, I'm gonna look around first.
Okay, so roll a spot check for me.
Well, while he does that, I'd like to
Three.
realize that I can open up drawers and search while I'm ripping data. So
Okay.
I'm rip a few drawers and pull out anything that has any documents with names, anything that's blacked out, anything important.
Okay,
that looks
so
important.
you pull open the first drawer in the first desk that you're standing next to when you see this, and in the drawer is a squeegee stress toy and a little pot of sugar and some spare pens and like some of those sachets that you use to make hot drinks, someone's personal mug, general stuff like that. It takes a little bit of searching, but you'll pull out some documents. You don't necessarily have time to read them, but you're grabbing documents, and we can assume you find a bag somewhere, whether it's a kind of like a backpack or a carrier bag or something in one of the offices that's been abandoned, whether it's a purse, maybe a large purse or a satchel bag or something, and you sort of go around stuffing documents into the satchel bag as you rip data. That's fine. It's fine.
All right. As I'm doing that, once I'm pretty much done there, I'm gonna haul down to the 4th floor and look for Ferricite because I know it's where they're taking it.
Okay, so this has gone from espionage to robbery, but okay. So Snarbly Wolf is looking around. He grabs a blood vial and he's kind of searching around the lab. Snarbly Wolf can probably find, because Snarbly Wolf's been up there and sort of delivered Ferricite several times. Snarbly Wolf can probably find a sort of 2-pound block of Ferricite, maybe.
Quick question: is how close is the Ferricite to the blood vial thing?
Reasonably close.
Like, if they get close enough, they won't do anything reaction or anything.
They shouldn't, like, you have no reason to believe that the blood vials would react to the Ferricite.
In that case, I might as well take some Ferricite and get out of there.
Okay.
Okay. How close am I to Snarbly Wolf?
You're up on floor 4. You probably spot Snarbly Wolf at some point.
How well, hey Wolfman, how well hidden are your eyes inside your mask?
Roll a d20. Toad, roll a d20, actually.
Oh,
Toad,
shit.
you're going to attack Snarbly Wolf.
Whoa, no, don't do that yet.
It's an automated laser that is programmed to take out cameras and eyeballs on top of my head.
Whoa,
I don't have a choice. It's just automatically doing stuff. An 11.
An 11 plus your ranged to hit,
Oh.
which I believe is -1.
So my ranged attack missile +1.
+1, so 12. And Snarbly Wolf, your defense is...
Let me see what the defense is. Experience defense. Where did I find defense at?
It would be underneath your hit points and above your attacks. So it's at the top half of the sheet.
So, is it a where is it? Is it Constitution?
No, your defense is, it's either called defense or armor class, depending on what
Oh,
version of
armor
the sheet
class
you have.
is 11.
Okay, so roll a fortitude save against having your eyeball lasered.
God damn it.
11 plus 2. Fortitude save plus 2, so 13.
Snarbly Wolf is now blind for 4 minutes.
What the heck, Nets? Anyway, there is a blood vial. There is a vial inside my pocket. Could you please take that out for me?
How far away was he? Like, I just saw him in passing, right?
Yeah, he was probably sort of like 30 foot away.
And I'm just
Pass
like
each
going
other.
from door to door, like checking out rooms and
Yep.
scanning them. Like, I just want to go inside, look through the room, look at everything, and I'm looking for like terminals that have been left open in a panic or odd-looking style. Actually, I guess I should run a spot check as I'm going through all here. So 15 for my spot check. That's including bonus of 2.
Okay,
So
so you're
I'm just
sort of-
thinking like, oh, I don't know that other than somebody 30 feet away from me might have like groaned and fell to their knees from their eyeballs being lasered out. I don't really know that I've hit anything. I've just been running from room to room, and I've got an automated laser turret on top of my head.
Okay, so you've been sort of looking around and hunting things. You've sort of seen some interesting stuff, but there's nothing amazing going on that you've detected
Nothing
so
amazing
far.
going on? Have,
Yeah.
How far do I have to go to get to whereabouts Snarbly is? Oh, you said about 30 feet. Okay, I'm gonna keep
Yeah.
making my way up to the rooms and wondering why he's just kind of stopped in the middle of the hallway. And when you said that, did you just kind of like call out quietly like you did, or did you yell out like, "Hey,
Call
dude"?
out quietly.
So yeah, I
Call back
probably
quietly.
didn't hear you as I was rummaging, trying to open doors and look through and scan, and because like I'm basically trying to get everything I can see on my kidney camera.
Well, then I'll
So-
just yell out,
Yeah, I'm,
"Yo!"
it's like back out of one of the doors to look down at what's happening. See a masked man over somewhere.
Get over here.
Why?
There is something you need to have.
Does it have to happen right now? I'm kind of busy.
Yeah. Actually, it does.
How many more rooms between us?
Two rooms between you, maybe. 2 doors.
I'll be right there, and I hit the other 2 rooms to check out what's in them.
Okay. While all this is going on, have I
Well, then
found
I-
anything of note?
A
A parasite that I can grab?
You haven't found any ferrocite now. You've found some interesting labs. There's like equipment and laboratories
will-
and stuff.
As when I go through those labs, do I find any documents, any terminals that I can just throw the Ripper into, rip off another 5-10 gigs, and then
Okay, so you're still ripping data and grabbing files and adding them to the man purse that you found in one of the offices.
yeah.
So you've got a nice chunky man purse full of files and a data ripper full of data. Everyone roll a listen check for me.
Eight.
11.
12, and is there a modifier on that, or only if we're
Listen
trained
is
in listen?
plus 0, so
I
11.
got 10.
Listen is a wisdom, so 0, so yeah, just my 12.
Okay, so all you guys hear is the sirens of the sort of alarms in the building and the rain and the sizzling sound of something burning.
And I keep hearing a zit 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 on top of my head.
Yeah, you keep hearing as that's not the sound of the laser, that's just the sound of the thing turning.
Yeah,
and
lasers are
pointing the laser in
silent
that direction.
for people who are
Yep.
listening and watching here. Like, lasers are silent, and an ultraviolet laser would be of moderate power, higher power for same wattage than some of the other lasers. And the other thing with it is completely invisible, and especially at a moderate wattage, would not produce any visible beam anyway. So
Very true. So you guys are rummaging around on the 4th floor and sort of heading around and checking things out. And
But I'm not rummaging around. I'm just.
yeah, you're just
slowly
kneeling
head
on the floor.
Well, no, I like almost sort of lay down on the floor. Look like I just been like hurt or something.
Okay. Nets finds one of the 2 laboratories between Nets and Snarby Wolf is the laboratory that you woke up in the hallucination dream, and is also the laboratory that Nets visited previously to fix a bioscanner.
okay, is there anything else of note in here?
There's biobeds, there's a bioscanner.
Oh
there's a
yeah,
computer,
that, but
there's-
like no
Alright.
new things hanging up on walls or open documents. Or the other thing is like I'm taking a look through the terminals to see if there's any terminals that have been left kind of like open, unlocked, usable as I'm going through.
You find a couple of terminals that are unlocked, but the terminal itself is unlocked, but all of the restricted data is behind a time lock. So
Okay, so
Like,
it's
you have
not
to-
like
you have to
anybody's
figure
just run away from their station and left what they're working on open.
and anything high security in this particular facility anyway is basically if you don't put in your password periodically, it just closes it and locks it.
Okay. So nothing in this room. I continue on to the next.
You find a laboratory that appears to be some kind of electronics engineering laboratory. It seems to be in some way related to biomedical research because there is some biomedical equipment in there, but it's primarily electronics equipment. Nothing major
Does it look
going
like
on
they're
there.
working on any interesting toys in there?
You see a couple of things. Actually, roll a craft electronics check.
Craft electronics, is that my +2 or +3? Does it matter? 14? Yes, it will matter. +3.
+3. Okay, so 17. So just at a brief, quick glance around, you see a device that kind of catches your eye. It appears to be some kind of semi-experimental device. You don't know what it does, but it looks quite complicated, possibly quite expensive. It's definitely a prototype of something. It's roughly about the size of like a household iron. It consists of a set of pins, roughly 2 or 3 millimeters long, probably about 500 of them on a plate. It's got a sort of computing system attached to it. It's got several sort of complicated reams of wiring. It's got a display screen on it and an internal battery unit. It looks odd and interesting, and you're welcome to take it if you want.
I'm an engineer and it's an interesting gizmo. Yes, I'm taking it.
Okay.
If I power it on,
How
does
long-
anything flicker across the screen?
If you power it on, the screen boots up, and there's a whole set of kind of graph chart and telemetry data boxes, basically.
Hmm.
All right, question: how long have you been at this for?
Roughly, like it took you probably about 15 minutes to get up to the top floor. You probably spent another 25-30 minutes ruffling around the offices and upstairs, while these guys spend about 45 minutes ruffling around down here.
Okay, I'm gonna haul ass to the nearest back exit or the hole that got blown in the side of the building. If there's enough of a hole there, I'll exit out that.
Okay.
As long as it's not like, as long as there's, or if I can find a back exit, I'll take that first, like a
Spot,
service exit.
please.
Fantastic.
When do I not go blind anymore?
Your blindness drifts off roughly about the time that Bomber, because you already had about 5 minutes blindness. Your blindness drifts off roughly about the time that Nets is coming out of the second office.
Okay, so I'm
With the-
just coming to finally see you now, and you can see again.
Roll an
Start.
attack check.
Oh god.
Oh,
Oh shit, he did not
6.
think this one through.
Missed.
All right.
It basically catches the edge of the mask and
All right. So in
certainly
that
hurts
case,
Snarbleball's eyes, but doesn't blind him.
I'm just going to take the blood vial out and said, "Here, take this. You know what to do with it."
I really don't, but okay. And I take a vial
Oh,
of
trust me,
blood from
you
him.
do.
Are you telling him to stick it up his ass? No. You know what to do with this. Yeah, you do.
So then I
Sounds like you're-
point to like, I don't know, is he carrying any intel?
Is he what?
Is he carrying anything that he's gonna give to the Balar or something?
I've got an iron with a bunch of spikes on it.
Yeah.
God damn it. So he's
So in
not
that case, what I'm gonna
absolutely
say
jack
is
shit.
that you know who to give this to.
Okay. That makes more sense.
All right, and then I basically just head off. I say see ya, and then I head off down the stairs and out of the foundry.
Roll a spot check for me as well, Mr. Snarblewolf.
Well, actually, I do it looking like I've just been attacked by someone.
Technically,
3.
you have.
Zero.
3. Okay, so what is Net doing, having been handed this blood vial?
I pocket it in my giant anti-infrared onesie and continue down the next hallway to check out rooms.
Okay, so Nets is upstairs checking out rooms. Meanwhile, Bomber and Snarby Wolf have headed downstairs. You've been at this for roughly 50 minutes. And both of you see stuff as you reach exits. Bear in mind that, like, you've been searching, gathering data. This isn't like a smash and grab one thing. You've been going office to office in some situations. So both both Bomber and Snarby Wolf noticed that outside there are quite a few emergency services going on. Half of or sort of like one side of the building is on fire. There are fire engines or fire units that are fighting the fire. There's a huge number of Drazni enforcer cars or Drazni police cars, and there's ambulances, and there's large numbers of people being herded back, and there's a cordon line around the building. Like, do you guys still want to go outside?
Is there a back entrance or a back exit that I can find that, like a service or?
Yes, and when you look outside, there is ambulances and police cars and fire engines. Like, the buildings, like, it's not like the back entrance leads into an alleyway. It's a manufacturing plant. It's got basically surrounded by a car park.
Thinking.
Is there a basement?
I will stash everything I can in my locker.
Okay, so Snarby Wolf sort of looks outside and wonders if there's a basement. You remember from the elevator that there is indeed a basement button in the elevator.
But does it lead out anywhere is the question. First off, I stow the parasite into Bomber's locker.
Okay.
Nice.
And then what I do is I basically just take a look and see the stairs to the basement.
Okay, so you head down into the basement, and in the basement is some kind of like manufacturing machinery. It's kind of like the base of the elevators. There's waterworks and sewage works and electrical connection works and a couple of chemical runoffs and the connectors for the high risers and the water risers, and it's utilities mainly.
I look around to see if there's an exit.
Roll an intelligence check.
Oh boy.
Yeah, while that's happening, I would like to. So everything's stashed in my locker. I want to.
7.
Oh shit.
Minus. Where is it? Hold on. Intelligence 7 minus 1.
Okay, so you look around in the basement. You can guess that probably the best source of exit in the basement would be the main sewage pipe.
Fuck the sewage pipe.
Please
I'm
don't.
going back up. I'm going back up to the first floor. Is there anyone else besides us three in the building? And the
Nope.
corpses?
Nope.
Okay,
well, next-
I am going to, while he's making his way upstairs, I'm going to find, now that everything's stashed, find a, I guess metal, anything that's kind of jagged. I'm gonna scrape my forehead across it so it goes around the side of my head a little bit, and I'm gonna cover myself in dust and shit, and I'm gonna stumble out.
Roll
much
a
damage?
d4.
Where's my 4? There it is. Give me one, give me one, give me one. Holy shit.
4. Down to 1 hit point. Basically, basically as you drag it across your head and down the side of your face, you nick your brachial artery. Not cut it all the way, but you nick it, and you're bleeding quite heavily now. So yeah, you might want to go and get, because like you've already taken a piece of metal through the thigh.
Yeah,
Like, you could have just headbutted the wall.
Or why didn't you just head out with like a chunk of metal that scraped past your thigh? Like you're already legitimately wounded.
because...
But there was no reason that he would have stayed in there for 50 minutes after the fire started.
Yep.
He wants them to believe that he was knocked unconscious.
Mm.
So I'm covered in dust and I'm gonna stumble my way out the front.
Okay, so you're immediately sort of grabbed by a group of police officers who drag you off away from the building towards a ambulance and kind of thrown quite sort of ham-handedly into the arms of the ambulance crew, who very quickly apply pressure to your brachial artery while you're bleeding all down your front. Wow, just that luck. Like, you took all, like, if you'd taken 6 instead of 5 damage from the thing through the thigh, you would have just killed yourself.
I know.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what I knew, and I could have done it. That's why I was like, that's why I knew I had enough health.
Oh,
but
that was so
yeah.
close.
Oh,
I'm glad I
yeah.
didn't make you roll a d6 then,
Thank
because
you.
you'd have got a 6.
Thank you. I know, right?
It would have cut your brachial artery, passed out, and just bled to death in the middle of the factory.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Okay.
So,
So
you
I'm
have been
recovering now.
accosted and you have been accosted and taken on. So at this point, the pistol rounds that Bomber left on top of the engine get hot enough, thanks to the fire that has been spreading through the manufactory floor, to ignite. The problem is that the reason that particular forklift wasn't currently being used was someone had been working on Manufactory 2, which works with some quite dangerous chemicals, and they'd spilt some chemicals on the forklift, and as the bullets go off, the concussion sets off the chemicals, because it's a concussion explosive chemical, basically, and there's a second thud, and the building is rocked again. And Snarby Wolf and Nets, please both roll a reflex save.
Okay, and how close am I to being through these rooms and that?
15! And reflex save plus
Okay.
0.
So the second boom rocks the building, and a couple of sort of pieces of metal shrapnel go flying. Nets up on the 3rd floor. A flower pot falls off a high shelf, and kind of he dodges out the way, and it shatters on the floor.
Woo! Dexterity for the win. Flower
Meanwhile,
pot.
Snarby Wolf, who is coming out of the staircase onto floor 1 from the basement, has pieces of metal go whizzing past his ear, and he kind of pushes himself into the edge of the stairwell, and little bits of metal and shrapnel ping around him, but he doesn't get particularly injured by them, thankfully. Snarby Wolf,
Mhm.
roll a fortitude save,
Oh, no.
because you've been wandering around on the ground floor and basement of a smoke-filled building.
18 plus fortitude save?
Yep,
Fortitude save is plus 2, so that's 20.
yep. Your chest hurts, but you're fine.
Alright, well, I'm heading immediately outside. And as I get outside, I'm just gonna basically fall to the floor. Well, actually, no,
Okay.
I'm gonna take off my mask before I get outside.
Okay,
And,
so you take off your mask and you go outside. Your eyes are both bloodshot and weeping from the mixture of smoke and being lasered.
I'm so sorry about that, but automated defenses,
Hey.
you know?
Hey, Toad, you have no idea what I was planning. Like, I was kind of tempted to have you roll an intelligence check to see whether or not you turned it on while holding it in front of yourself. And you just automatically blinded yourself.
That would have been fantastic.
Yeah, no, that would not have been good.
All right, so question: I'm being tended to. Can I put my hit points back up, or
You are.
I'm being tended to by medical professionals?
You are. My medical
Hastily,
professional
though.
is currently rolling his medical skill.
Fuck me up the ass.
Actually, that's not too bad, because you're being
Okay.
treated by a senior paramedic, and he has plus 10 to his medical treatment skill.
Oh, okay.
So you recover 1d6 hit points. You recover
Give me 1.
6.
Oh, holy shit, 6! Yay!
So your brachial artery bleed has been sorted out
Yay! I'm not gonna
exceedingly
die.
well. Your thigh wound has been treated. Basically, they're using a kind of panic suture, very similar to the stuff that the corporations have access to. The fact that it's being used on you is almost like a compliment, because this stuff in the slums is very expensive. It's a kind of basically almost like a fake flesh that can be used to seal wounds. A wound sealant gel. Snarbly Wolf stumbles outside and again gets accosted by police officers and dragged off to an ambulance. The police officers are suspicious of both of you, by the way, but you're both injured, so you're both being treated first. But neither of you notice because you're both kind of being treated medically, but there are police officers hanging around the ambulances you're being treated in. And Nets, you have managed to go through probably about 20 labs, 30 labs, just looking around and rifling through things. There's still another 30 labs and 20 admin offices on that floor.
Oh. Okay, so I'm gonna go for a quick run. I'm just gonna jog down the hallway, open doors, look inside, pan through the doors, and then keep on going because I'm recording all of this. So just looking through each room quickly to try to finish.
You can probably, you can probably finish off the rest of the labs. Probably like 20 to 30 seconds a room. You can probably finish off the rest of the labs in 15 minutes.
Okay, that's what I'm gonna do. Making my way towards a admin office.
Roll a perception check, which is D20 plus your wisdom.
I think my wisdom's a +0. Yeah, +0, 19.
Christ, it's getting hot.
Yeah. Not only is there fire, but I'm also in, like, thermal underwear.
Yeah. I don't see the point of the thermal underwear myself, but okay.
I thought that maybe there'd be, like, infrared trip things, or, like, I wasn't expecting to be running through an area that, like, was literally on top of a floor that was on fire, where it would mask my body heat. I was like, there's labs, and they don't want people up here, there might be thermal detection and stuff.
Can I just point something out to Mr. Toad and to our audience? Thermal negation fabric would not stop an infrared tripwire, because an infrared tripwire is a beam of infrared light received by a sensor. If that beam gets disturbed...
No, not like... I mean like an ambient room temperature. Like a heat trip. Yes, laser trips it's still going to go through.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Not a tripwire.
That's okay. Like, if you were talking about an infrared tripwire, I was like, yeah, that wouldn't stop it.
I'm not that dumb. Neat stuff. I found out that I can buy like commercial grade ones through work of those now. That was cool.
Ooh. That is cool.
So, you're going to finish off the last few labs by looking into them. What are you going to do then?
I want to run a spot check to see if there's anything extremely pertinent as I'm looking through these labs, just to see if there's something I catch that's like I need to deal with. So 15 plus 2.
15 plus 2. In one of the labs, you see basically a vial or a container, not a vial, a container. Think of it like a 1 liter bottle, but glass. And you just about manage to catch as you're running around that particular vial has the chemical name of the hallucinogen you were given on it.
Okay, I want to stop in that room, record that, and take a little better look in that room, see if there's anything else. Like, whether that's something that's pipeable, or whether there's gas masks around to prevent people from inhaling it, or whatever.
You look around that room, and you notice that the drawers on the desk have already been pulled open.
Of course. Yeah.
And there's a couple of, like, there's standard stuff. There's masks and gloves, and there's a couple of devices hanging around for different bits and pieces. Roll a knowledge technology.
So that's going to be a -4 because it's a trained knowledge, right?
Yep. Although, actually, no, I'll let you negate the -4 because you've got both craft electronics and computer use.
Okay, so 14.
14. Some of the devices seem to be biomedical in nature. They're quite small biomedical devices. They appear to be some kind of electrography device.
Okay, so some sort of measurement and sensory tools. Are they like handheld unit or like body-mounted small sensors, or what do you mean by small?
They are arrays of small sensors mounted to detect devices. The sensors are like a web attached to a cable, which is in turn attached to a box that's roughly twice the size of a house brick.
Okay, I grabbed that. Just in case there's any information on that box that hasn't been wiped yet. And then, yeah, so should I run multiple spots for running through multiple rooms for just stuff interesting, or was that one spot
No.
kind of like...
One spot for all of it.
Okay,
Um,
so that was the
and,
last big thing of interest I see then?
that was the last. That was the last big thing of interest. Yes.
Okay. So I've been recording what's in each of the rooms as I run through. I've gotten to the administration office. I want to try to get root access to the computer. And what was my computer root use? A +2. Computer use is... Good thing I put the... Oh, +4.
+4. So you get a 17. What are you trying to access on the computer?
Access to the root file system. Like, not that I need to access the encrypted information, but to be able to access all files on it so I can just make a blanket copy.
You could probably dig your way through a back door on one of the computers. Yes, with a 17, I could probably dig your way through a back door.
Okay. Between my recording devices storage and my remaining kidney storage, can I copy all that information?
Oh God, no! Like like you're getting access to the root files of the entire manufactory. You wouldn't be able to copy all of the data on the sort of base servers.
Okay. Just stuff that's locked behind passwords.
Okay, so you grab encrypted and password protected data.
Yeah, anything that I don't have regular access to, yeah.
Okay. You grab what you can, you fill out your storage. That takes probably another 10 minutes. It is now extremely, extremely hot on that floor.
Okay. I'm gonna work my way back to an elevator. On my way back, I am going to grab from one of the rooms I've noticed with medical equipment a tank of oxygen. And,
Okay.
well, not... Oh, would they have just pure oxygen, or would they have, like, breathable atmosphere tanks if they were playing with that Space Roofies stuff?
This is the issue, because like you've been looking around in the labs, so you have seen the inside of the labs, but you haven't necessarily been reading what's contained in the tanks. And quite a few labs contain gas tanks. So you now have a choice. You can go around checking labs to see if there is one with breathable air, or you can just grab the first tank you see that contains oxygen. Searching the labs to find breathable air will take you time. Grabbing the first one that says oxygen will be faster. Will still take a little time, but will be faster.
Okay, so the labs where I found the Space Roofies, the lab where the ferrocite and violet blood, the biovials were, and the magnetic resonance machine scanner and the other med lab, I'm going to look for breathable oxygen.
Okay, you find a container of,
atmosphere.
You find a container of breathable medical oxygen, not pure oxygen.
Okay. So I take that. Are there masks around with it, or is it just the tank?
It's just the tank.
Yay. Okay. So I grab that, and in any of these medical rooms, can I spot plastic disposable garments? Like kind of like a splatter apron
No.
type thing?
No.
Sample bags.
Yes.
Okay. Large enough to seal the equipment and stuff that I've found in them.
Yes.
Okay, so I take a couple sample bags so I can seal up all the equipment, and I head on down to basement level.
Okay, so you head down to the basement. So you've headed for the stairs or the elevator?
Elevator.
The elevator isn't functioning.
Okay, I start heading down the stairs.
The stairwell is extremely hot and full of smoke. You get down to the second floor, and it comes to the point where, like, the front of your body is actually physically painful with the heat coming up from below.
Okay. Even though it's keeping my body heat in, wouldn't the anti-infrared clothing also provide an insulation layer against some of the external heat?
It is.
Okay. I'm gonna head for the elevator that went crashing down.
Okay.
Okay, and is there a access ladder or mechanism in the shaft?
There's parts of an access ladder. It's been damaged by the off-kilter elevator falling down.
Okay. Is it a track elevator or is it a cable elevator?
It was a cable elevator.
Cable, because
hence
the twang. Yeah. Is there still an intact cable heading most of the way down?
No.
Okay, the other elevator, was it at the level that I was at, or was it just like I tried the elevator and the doors didn't open?
It was on the second floor, so it's below the fourth floor, but it wasn't. It wasn't at the same level as you know.
Okay, so the elevator that I couldn't use, I'm gonna go to its shaft and try to access the ladder on it.
Strength check to force the door open.
And strength is just -1, so a 10.
It's gonna take you a while to force the door open. You probably have to go and find some kind of leverage device, like a stick.
Okay. In the medical room, I go to find a basically one of those aluminum shafted trolleys for hanging IVs off of.
You can find some kind of leverage device,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay. Come back to open the door. Yeah.
Okay, so it's getting really, really fucking hot now.
Yeah.
And you lever the door open, and there's a whoosh of smoke coming up from the elevator shaft, but like the elevator shaft is reasonably intact.
Yeah. Okay. So I am going to inside my body suit thing that I'm wearing. I am going to start just like packing all these materials in around me in their new little sealed baggies. And I'm going to, is the oxygen tank like a scuba sized tank or like fire extinguisher sized tank or
fire extinguisher sized tank?
Okay. I shall put it down my front, pull my
so
like on my chest.
Everyone,
on my chest.
Just for everyone who's sort of like listening to this, essentially he's wearing like a onesie made of very slightly stretchy beige colored fabric, and he's shoving lumpy bits of plastic wrapped equipment into it.
Since when is it beige? I wanted like the shiny shimmery green like the picture. Never mind, it's beige, it's horrible. Yes.
And then he shoved basically a fire extinguisher down the front of his top. This is gonna make it bloody hard to climb down a ladder.
Yeah, I know. But so I'm also gonna snug my hood up as much as I can, and on the valve for the breathable atmosphere tank, just crack it so it is providing me a more breathable atmosphere than the smoke, and restricting smoke inhalation through the snugged, closed hood.
Okay.
Okay, and I'm gonna make my way down towards the basement.
Okay, roll. Let's put it like this. How determined are you to get to the basement?
I am going down to use access ways to get out of here. I can't go through the
Okay.
front. I've got stuff
Roll
on me.
Roll a fortitude save.
And my fortitude being 13 with my modifier.
Okay. Take 1d4 heat damage.
D4 is a weird triangle.
Yeah, d4 is the weird triangle.
With 6 health.
4!
4! Ouch! So basically, as you climb down across the ladder gets hotter and hotter. The air around you gets hotter and hotter. Even with the air coming from the tank, it starts to hurt your lungs to breathe because it's just because of the heat of it.
Yeah.
Eventually, you get to the point where even through the thermal insulation, which I assume you've pulled down over your hands, holding onto the ladder is now physically painful. You get down to floor 1, and the ladder is not quite glowing, but the ladder is like a no longer the shiny metal color. It is now a color of kind of like slightly dark red, slightly burnished kind of color. And like the anti-thermal material on your hands is actually blackening as you're climbing down the ladder. You're blistering your hands inside. Your lungs are hurting. You are semi-blind from the heat on your eyes. The bottom of your shoes has melted, and you've been leaving like marks on the ladder rungs as you've been going down. But eventually, you drop down below it. It's still ridiculously hot, but below the fire, there's like fresh air. Like the smoke is being drawn upwards, the heat is being drawn upwards. That below the level of the fire, there's fresh air, and the underground area of the basement seems to be in much better condition.
Okay, I turn off my oxygen for now and start checking for like any crossroad signs that would potentially point towards an exit or access tunnel. So should I run a spot for that, or is that just I'll find those? Okay. $12.
Okay, so what you find in the basement is you find the main sewerage inlet. You find the main water pipes and the main things, and most of these come through what are essentially kind of like what they call building penetrations. There's
so basically like a bank of large tubes coming through a cement tunnel, housing them for protection.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. And you're saying there's no what now?
There's no human-sized access points. There's no like utility tunnel side-offs or things. Apart from like the ones within the actual basement itself, there's no.
Can I slide myself like along in between the pipes? Like kind of like lay on the ground and like scooch using the pipe as a hold to pull myself through the access tunnel or the direct aerial tunnel.
You would have to give up the oxygen tank and be very careful, but yes, you could drag yourself through the piping channel.
Are there the fire extinguishers down here? Would there be any hose type fire extinguishers?
Yeah, there'd be a couple of those.
Okay, are they wet hose or dry hose?
Wet hose down here.
Jokes.
I'm gonna get a better one. Actually,
Okay, so what I want to do is take a section of hose and cut it off with my multi-tool.
Right.
And tie it to the head of the bottle so that I can drag it just a couple feet behind me as I'm going. Just in case I need the oxygen.
An intelligence check.
What do I have to check my intelligence for? I'm dragging stuff behind me. 7 plus my 2.
Okay, so basically, I'm going to tell you this now. the only chance you have is that if that like channel does not like split off into multiple smaller channels, otherwise you're going to get your ass stuck.
Mhm.
However, Nets does realize that the sort of main sewage outlet pipe is like 4 foot across.
So basically, I could flow out with the sewage.
Yes.
I'm taking it there are inspection vehicle hatches on that for blockages.
Yes.
Okay, so I put the breathable oxygen tank back in my suit. I use the wet hose to run kind of like a breathing snorkel, so even though it's not airtight, it does provide some sort of flow channel.
Okay.
And I close up my hood as much as I can and kind of just lay back surfing down the sewage outlet.
Okay. So with Nets being washed away with the sewage, Snarbly Wolf sitting in the back of an ambulance, and Bomber having been saved from the brink of death in the back of an ambulance, I think we will call the episode there, and we will find out the results of this monstrosity of an event when we come back in the next episode.
You blew up a whole freaking building! Twice!